So Landscapers is a HBO British co-production with Sky, 4-episode miniseries premiering on HBO in the States on Monday nights. And stars, as you mentioned, Olivia Colman and David Thewlis, and they play a real-life couple from England who committed a crime. And this is kind of a true crime dramatization type miniseries. Uh, and you have two central lead performers in Thewlis and Coleman that we like quite a bit, especially Coleman, who's just on an incredible acting run, which, by all indications, is continuing with the Lost Daughter, Maggie Gyllenhaal's film, which is coming out at the end of this month. So Olivia Colman in anything requires viewing, and Landscapers, it has a bit of a comedic element to it, but ultimately, I think of it a lot the way, if you recall, we watched the show on AMC called Quiz. Remember that 4-episode miniseries about a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire
Yep.
famous fraud
Hmm.
again in England? Very similar thing where there's a dramatic event from real life dramatized in a series, but not super long series. But at the end of the day, there's not like a ton of meat on that bone in terms of the crime that it might it'll probably fizzle out over 4 hours. I
Yeah.
think that's where Landscapers is heading because ultimately it's a simple crime. They murdered Coleman's character's parents and buried them in the back garden and then pretended they were still alive and collected their vengeance. However, by the conclusion of episode one, uh, the crime has been discovered due to Thulis's character mentioning it to his stepmom, and they turn themselves over to the police. So effectively, we've progressed through so much plot already that I don't know if the subsequent 3 hours are gonna show us too much more. Um, a big part of this episode, you have Coleman's character kind of daydreaming in the sense about famous actor Gary Cooper, who she likes to buy film memorabilia early on in the film, and like there's these like black and white like dream sequences or daydreams in a sense that seem to interstitch with our scenes here. And I don't know if it really announced to enough through one episode. It just felt like a little bit of padding where I just don't know if there's quite enough there for a 4-episode series. And again, 4 episodes doesn't sound like a lot, but it's kind of an A to B thing. And we got a little bit of this in the first episode, and the review suggests this is going to continue, where we see fourth wall breaking, similar to how scenes of From a Marriage would show us the sets before the episode technically started. Right, we'd watch Chastain and Oscar Isaac walk to the set around people in masks that are the crew in real life. Right, we get a little bit of that again with Landscapers, and again, I don't really understand the choice, but I'm beyond the padding. So, I mean, if you're interested in the story, if you want to see these performers, go ahead, at least watch the first episode. But I don't think it's gonna crack the year-end list. Not that it's like bad or anything. It's just it's not. There's not a whole lot to it ultimately. I don't think.
Yeah, just in the little bit I had looked into it, I was interested, obviously because of the performers. But in hearing you talk about it, I do wonder because I believe that this is supposed to take place over years that they cash in the pension. If there will be like some going back in the story, maybe like
Right.
flashbacks, things like that, filling in. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it. It's only 4 episodes, like you mentioned, so they'll be wrapping up right around like the end of the year, which is not a time we usually get to review too many things. I don't know if we'll be coming back to it, but if it's noteworthy, we will certainly make the space for it.